Okay. All right. So we've got a lot of great content this morning. A lot of I was just saying I got a lot of like little pieces of information that are important, not, but aren't big, huge talking points. But to get us kicked off and started, let's talk about February. How did February feel to you guys compared to January? Different, better, worse, weird, just weird. I would say weird. Yeah. Lawrence Yun, in his analysis, he did say February did uptick. So there was an uptick in February's transactions over January's, but we are still below in February 2026 where we were in transactions and volume in 2025, February of 2025. So we are down, I think, about 7% from February of 2025, but we were up in February from where we were in January. And I think from the feeling and the energy, what? Cold weather. It is the snow and the cold weather, right? So everything that happened in February was a result of stuff that was not happening in January, right? Because we had back-to-back storms and all that snow. So definitely from the energy that we're feeling and seeing in the office, March is shaping up to be a much better month for you guys. Everybody seems to be busier, more listings. Sam's like, yes, March is looking good. Yeah, good. Awesome.
One thing I chime in, what did Mike say? Like Zillow as a region under-delivered by 30 to 40%.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Yeah.
It's like they were shocked.
Yeah.
And they're blaming the weather.
So for our region.
Right.
Yeah. They with cold weather, everybody home searching and,
They take far nights now.
They couldn't get out. They couldn't get out. They couldn't park at the properties because the properties weren't. The kids are home with them, but also there was a lot of listings that didn't go on the market.
Right.
So inventory was also way down in January and February. People waiting to wait out the freezing cold weather and the snow and all that stuff. So with the lack of new inventory, all they were looking at was what was still on the market from December. So there just wasn't inventory for them to see either. So yeah, I mean, that's crazy that even Zillow felt it. So the stats though, the Mid-Atlantic stats. So for our Mid-Atlantic region, median days on the market did drop a little bit to 27 from 29 in January. Average list to close price was 98.6. And average close price in the Mid-Atlantic region was 409,000. And then I did add months of supply. So in the Mid-Atlantic region, we are up to 1.94 months of supply. So we are almost at 2 months of supply, which is still far below the demand for the average amount of buyers entering the market. In Central PA, again, also their median days ticked down from 17 down to 16. 98.5% average list to close price, so pretty similar to the Mid-Atlantic region. And these are all the bright stats. Maryland Realtors, they don't put theirs out until typically after our sales rally. And then average close price was 310,000. And Central PA is looking at even less supply at 1.5 months of supply, a month and a half of supply. For our office, our median days on the market did increase. So we went from 6 to 13 median days for our listings. So this is just our listings in the month of February. Our average list to close price, we are holding at 100% of list price for close price. So that's good. That tells me you guys are pricing your properties appropriately, right? Whereas up here, we see a lot of price reductions going on. And then our office average close price for the month of February was 362,000. Questions? Any questions on the stats? No? All right. Did you have the certificates? What?
One job.
I did not say yet.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so for the month of February, our top producers, our top listing agent. In third place, we actually had 7 of you, which is pretty amazing. And this might be a record high in both these categories. We had 7 of you with a tie with 2 listings each. So congratulations to everybody that had 2 listings that went active in the month of February. In second place with 3 listings that went active, Jeff Choice. Congratulations, Jeff. And then in first place with 4 listings in the month of February, the J.C. Taylor Home Team. Congratulations, guys. You're welcome. Top closed sides. Top closed sides, we have a 6-way tie for third. So congratulations. A lot of you had multiple closings in the month of February. Second place with 2.4 closings was the Page Home Team. Congratulations, guys. And then in first place with 3.5 sides in the month of February closed was Mr. Dennis Bentley. Top closed sales volume. So this is the total of all of the purchase prices of the properties that you closed in February. In third place with 874,000, Michelle Garino. Second place with 970,000 in sales volume, Dave Basenbaker. And then in first place with 1.5 million in closed sales volume was Mr. Jeff Choice. I'm over here now. Great job. And then E-Team Top Producers. Third place, again, we had like several of you tied with 2 transactions or contracts, any combination thereof, from office listings. So this does include now Zillow and HSA listings. So second place with 1 closing, 2 contracts, 1.5 million in sales volume, Saeed Mohebi. And then in first place with 4 closings and 1.7 million in sales volume, the J.C. Taylor Home Team. Nice job, guys.
I'm surprised. Was it all case?
Very surprised.
No, that was a combination of listings, some of your listings, closing, I think. So yeah, combination. And then Rookie of the Month. So our Rookie of the Month, I'm excited that we have a Rookie of the Month this month, had in the month of February 2 closings, 1 ratified contract for a total of 1.3 million in sales volume, and it was Mr. Ross Keller. So great job to all of you. Okay, so I'd like to kick us off this morning, and if you gentlemen could join us at the front with our DML lending team, Keith Cooper and Alec Meredith.
For those of you who weren't at the awards party, everybody knows Terry retired.
Yeah.
Sorry, stop that.
The camera is on to your right, but
All right, well, tell me what's going on. All right.
So does everybody know Alec and his role? What he does?
okay. So
We'll start there.
Yeah.
Well, introduce.
We welcomed him at the last sales rally, but if you weren't here at the last sales meeting, you have no idea who he is. So Alec Meredith is our new loan partner with DML. So he is working directly with Keith, mentoring, helping Keith lift the load. And if you want to talk about what he's doing with you or for you.
Yeah, so Alec, it's only been like 2 weeks, right?
A month.
Or has it been
He
that
started the
long?
last sales rally.
I'm losing.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, 4 weeks. Yeah, so, but, I mean, just so. With mortgage, when you bring somebody in that's never really been in the industry, I mean, like, there's a guy that works at corporate on another girl's team, and he's never been in mortgage. I was asking her, and she's like, it was like 8 months to a year before everything just clicks, because I can't just sit him down and teach him debt to income, loan to value. So he's been like at my hip listening to calls. He's actually been making calls. He's been talking to clients. He's been talking to realtors. He's been inputting files. So he's getting very used to Encompass. And the most important thing is he's listening to me. So now, like I had him do a rescore on a credit report yesterday. I just basically gave him a phone number and said, just hit option 3, tell him this, and then listen. And I got an email 10 minutes later that the rescore was submitted. So the fact that somebody has work ethic and he's got a good head on his shoulders and he's picking things up. He's not licensed yet, so he can't really talk rate, but he knows how to segue the conversations. He just talked to a girl this morning that I told her I would call as soon as I got in, and I said, look, just give her a call. Just explained to her I'm stuck on a call and, came right back, all the info. He'll get that in today. So he's definitely learning the lingo and understanding the process, which has been actually a very big help. When you were talking about the numbers, like for February, my closings, it was probably, I had a few move or fall out, but it was probably one of the worst months I've had ever. And that I think was and I know in my head, December, January, February, it's always off. But my originations in February have just taken off. Not going wood. I don't want to jinx myself, but yeah, it's been very steady and just having another body there that I can just hand stuff off to now, which is just freeing up more time to let me talk to agents, talk to buyers, and have a more organizational flow. I would love to sit here and say that the rates are, great and they're in the fives and everything is perfect. The reality is all the news that essentially will drive rates down, meaning the employment numbers that came out Friday, there was no gains in jobs. There was like tens of thousands lost. Inflation's, kind of down, was down. Everything was pointing to rates really taking a dive. And then with everything that's been happening over in Iran and, the market has just been kind of, it's weird. Every day is opening up where the market is down. It's not having a good day. Yesterday, or when Trump made the announcement that, the war should be ending soon, you saw the rates start to go back down and the 30-year just went crazy. I have to listen to this morning's update to find out what happened at the end of the day because we were having a very good day. And then all of a sudden I look and we were closing like not good. We were down like 16. The market opened this morning. It was down 18. But I do believe that, and again, a lot of this is a lot of instant reaction to what's been going on in Iran. It's still kind of fresh. So the markets are just, they don't know what to do. And they're up and down, up and down. So there's no real stability. I think any positive news that comes out about the war ending and things, kind of tapering off, I do believe that eventually, rates are going to continue their slide down. Now, as far as a bright side, I mean, FHA rates, they don't get as impacted by the markets as much as conventional and they don't move as quick. So, I mean, locked an FHA loan yesterday at 599 with no cost. So, you can get into an FHA loan in the fives with no cost, even with credit down to like, probably 600. Conventional rates, again, if they're it's so I hate even saying this, like because but years ago it was the rate. Now it's like, well, how much are you putting down? What's your credit score? Have you ever owned a home? What's your debt ratio? There's all these factors. Do you make over 80% of an area median income? Do you make over 100%? All these factors, to make a long story short, it can put conventional rates anywhere from like maybe 6.2, 6.3 to like 6.5, 6.6 right now. Don't believe all the mailers you get. Don't believe all the hype that rates are at 5 and 4. They're not. You can Google the average rate. I mean, the rate, they might be saying that you can get there with cost, which you can, but at the end of the day, if you're just looking at a rate, like where are the average rates right now? I would say they're anywhere from the high fives, low to mid sixes, depending on a lot of things. It's not like people can call and say, oh, well, what's your credit? How much are you putting down? Oh, your rate's here. There's so many adjustments that come from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that can really, again, if you're not a first time home buyer and you make over 100% of an area median income, even if you have an 800 credit, you could be looking at like 6.49, somewhere around there. But then if you're making under that and you're a first time buyer and you got a 700 credit, you might be at 6.25. So it's very difficult to just say, okay, here's the rate. So I would just say, look, they've definitely come down. They were pushing 8 almost a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And now they've come down close to 2 points, if not a little more. But why don't you talk to my lender or a lender? They can give you a more accurate gauge. But I do believe that if this war didn't happen, if all these things didn't occur in the last week, I think we would have saw a major fall in rates just because of the unemployment numbers and everything. And even that wasn't strong enough to compared to what the media is saying. And every time something negative happens across the pond. So, hopefully this will be ending sooner versus later or kind of tapering off. And then we should hopefully see a reduction still in rates. They are still, estimating you can't control what happens, but rates hopefully will be somewhere in the fives, as the year progresses. But they have come down tenfold, which I just had a girl call me before we walked in. I had talked to her in January, and this is what I say. If you talk to your buyers, a lot of time it's just about educating. I talked to this buyer in January. She had a 634. And I noticed she was an authorized user on a credit card that was maxed out. I said, this is not helping you. I said, you need to get yourself off this card, pay this down, and I guarantee you'll be in a better position. Well, she actually listened. And when I looked at her credit today, she was a 694, a 676, and a 660. So now she's 85 grand a year ready to buy. So a lot of times it's just having a conversation with them. And it's not like an hour. It's like I can read a credit report in minutes and tell people what they need to do. And they're not having to pay a credit repair company hundreds of dollars a month for them to tell them, don't pay your bills and then we'll negotiate all this. So it's all about education, talking to people and explaining the process, and they so appreciate it. They might say, oh, well, I just applied online. But then once they talk to someone and they don't even realize what their payment was, how much money they needed, they really appreciate understanding the process because it's a lot. It's a great time, but it also can be overwhelming and stressful, to a first time buyer. So the more knowledge they have, the more comfortable they feel, actually pulling the trigger. I can't tell you how many times buyers go under contract. Then I get a call like, if I want to back out, well, why? Oh, just cold feet, or it's a way to get them off that ledge because the more they know, the likelihood of them sticking with it, they feel better about things. So that's really it on the market. I wish I had a lot better news, but again, the market is better. It's a lot better than where it was. And I have people calling me from 2 years ago that now they're ready to buy. They, again, some people are just busting out of their homes. They have no choice. And with the rates where they are now, it's a lot better than telling someone a rate with a 7 or an 8 in front of it. Now you're at like 6 or 5. They feel more apt to move. Does anybody have any questions?
How are you feeling, Alec?
You're good.
How are you feeling?
No, he's watching the updates with me. I just sit over.
No, it's
Yeah, like he was saying, I'm taking on a lot more. I'm just trying to do everything like a sponge, just trying to listen, how to interact with people and how to answer the questions the right way. I can't talk great, obviously, but I can try to point them in the best direction. If I don't know the answer, I can say, hey, I can refer to Keith and he can get back to you. So it's going good though.
He has a testament
wanted to make
to
sure,
it.
yeah.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
You guys are getting a
Like,
sneak
he's
peek
the
at
best.
Keith 2.0.
Yeah. It's like a lot of the same things that keeps.
Yeah.
Warn your family that you're gonna be on the phone all day, every day, like Keith.
I'm used to it.
Okay.
I came from.
Yeah, that was the first thing we asked. Like, are you afraid of the phone? Because if you are, there's the door.
now it's worked previously in like financial services, right? So you're looking at credit, scoring, right?
Yeah, so a lot of this isn't totally unfamiliar. So he's dealt with clients, he's made a million phone calls, so he has no fear of getting on the phone. So, but again, if you're having trouble with a deal, or something doesn't look right, again, I've seen a lot of estimates recently, taxes are $50 a month lower than what they really are. They're not collecting enough money. If you have questions or if you have a buyer that you may think can get approved for more, or you're having a sticky situation, like Cassie and I just had a crazy negotiation yesterday with a buyer and seller. And we ended up getting the deal after the seller said, well, let me wait a week. And then Cassie and I talked, we thought of a game plan, went back to the seller without talking to the buyer first. But the seller was like, yeah, we'll take it. And so we went back to the buyer. And at the end of the day, the buyer was happy. They're under contract and everybody got what they wanted. And that's what it's about. It's not about just banging the buyer or seller for anything. It's a negotiation. So there's give and take. And I've noticed that, with homes days on the market, all these buyers want to come in 25 grand low and ask for the whole farm and closing help. And again, it's just educating, just letting them know what that really looks like to the seller. So again, no. But again, if you guys need anything, Alec has a whole realtor list of all your numbers, your emails. As I'm having him call you guys, he's storing the numbers. So if you hear from Alec, it's all good. He's part of me, an extension of me. But yeah, it's been a great help. And you guys, again, have been killing it. And I appreciate everything and all of you. So if you need anything, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Thank
you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
And just to add to that, they also, for those of you who aren't aware, Keith and Alec do also have somebody working with them helping with marketing. So I showed you before, Total Expert is the marketing tool that we use in our branch at DML. And through Total Expert, each of you can have your own portal, your own side, and it gives you flyers that you can customize yourself, that you can add, and it partners you with Keith and puts Keith's information on it. But it's flyers on all sorts of different loan products and rent versus buy. But if you can't figure it out or you haven't figured out, if you need your Total Expert login, email Keith or Alec and they can connect you with Jen. Yeah. So Jen is in Florida. She's remote, but she will set you up with your Total Expert login, your account. And then there's a whole flyer portal in there, like a whole flyer marketing section in there.
that you can pull and edit and add. You upload your photo and your information and it co-brands it. When all else fails, if you're like, yeah, that's great, Tina, but I don't know how to do any of that, or I don't want to do any of that. If you reach out to them, they'll connect you with Jen and Jen can create them for you. I know Carrie Wheeler just had Jen create a flyer co-branded with her and Keith on a very specific topic of content that she was looking for. So as you're starting your spring marketing outreach, whatever that might look like, I know some of you have been talking about renters, targeting renters, or whatever you might be targeting, they might have a flyer that you can add to your packets. Keith, yeah.
And just to piggyback on that, if you want like, something even more specific, let us know, because Jen has a link right to the marketing manager and they're always talking, and we can actually create, a more custom flyer. We just, if there's something that you want to particularly target that we don't have in the library. So that's something we can also do.
Cool. Thank you. We also just got updated websites for the branch and for Keith. So now Keith's website does have a mortgage calculator tool built into it. So you can go on there. Have you been on the new website yet?
I went on when they created it. I just want to make sure it was kind of easy to navigate through.
Yeah, so they finally launched it live yesterday. So it's got a mortgage calculator tool on there. It's got more information about Keith. So it's a great resource tool also. And then your buyers can actually submit their loan application or their pre-approval application information through the website directly to Keith. So and then that lead goes right into Keith's database, and Alec and Jen are on top of it. They get those alerts right away. So that's another great tool as well. So just some things to keep in mind, tools that you have at your disposal and access through the DML team. Would you like to talk about lead?
Sure. So month of February, the Zillow team made our goal, not just in contracts, but in pre-approvals.
Yeah.
So with that, guys, keep that up. We do have a little thing. I literally just got an email from Dom. He wants to get a small group of agents together for a little roundtable on Monday from 2 to 4. I know.
This is last minute.
I know. We talked another day. He just sent me an email, so I was like, we might be able to update that if that time doesn't work for everybody. But he will be in market next week and wants to meet with a few of y'all. On top of that, we had our first signed HSA listing. Mr. Hamid Mohebi was the one that got that going. So that is taking off. That is growing. Jim is working with a marketing company, Tina too, to get that really out there and start marketing out in the state all over, trying to get us more and more listing leads. Some of them may come with a buyer side too, so never a bad thing. So as that program grows, we are going to try to reach out to more agents in the brokerage, but right now it's still in kind of a beta testing mode. So bear with us while we get that growing for everybody. Not to say that we want to replace Zillow, but it wouldn't be a bad thing to have something else there for you guys. So that is coming down the line. We are also meeting with High IQ on Friday to get that launched. So High IQ is available to you guys. That is something where it's going to be an AI caller. You guys have heard the demos before. It can reach out to your database as long as they have opted in. So that is like the key to that one. So that's something you guys have the ability to sign up for and get going for yourself so that they'll be calling your database for you. I know some of you have a lot of nurtures that I'm sure this would be a great plant for. Get them going, get them calling you and ready to go buy. So that is going to be on Friday. And we also have we're setting them up to take incoming calls from Zillow. So those of you that have been around for a while know that we used to have an ISA account in Zillow that would take the call, set the appointment, and then it would be jump balled out to you guys. We are starting that back up again. So any of you that are in that little rut of Zillow where you're in a place where Zillow is not sending you more, but they're demanding more from you, this is going to help with that. That's going to help offset those numbers and give you guys more opportunities across the board. So we are getting that worked out and figured out for you guys. So coming down the line soon. So bear with us. We will let you guys know as all that gets started. But a friendly reminder, we are having a lead call day on Monday at noon. So if anybody wants to come in and call some leads, there's lots of opportunity out there for you. Okay. Did I miss anything?
Oh.
I don't think so either. Okay, cool. Good. For once.
Thank you. Cass, did you want to talk, anything about Hyatt Helpers? Or we have any ideas for spring?
No, I don't. But I guess it probably is time for us now that we're moved and settled and all of that stuff for us to probably try to revamp our meetings and stuff like that. Somewhat back to normal. So I don't really know when those are going to be. I know Marissa was real heavy in it. I know Mark did bring, he's not even here, brought me an idea. So maybe just send something out and I can post something in the in our Facebook group and see when a good meeting date will be for everyone to get together via Zoom or in person, and then we can try to figure something out for the spring or the summer. Some what'd you say?
Awesome.
Something for the summer. But I've just been real busy with sorority and H-Card Cares Gala. You guys don't know about that.
I did something.
Okay, Joy told you about that. But it is in April, and just come out and raise money. It's for grassroots. And we just want to give some money away. And if you need board members for H-Card Cares or however you want to volunteer, just let us know.
Nice.
The Hyatt Helpers is coming back.
Awesome. Thank you. So if anybody has any ideas, if you've heard of anything that you're interested in, I do know, and I can maybe put this on your radar or we can talk about it at the next meeting, but there is a Habitat for Humanity group that builds in Harford County. There was a group of us that went up last spring and worked on building a duplex house in Harford County, which was awesome. So we did a day up there. We carved with Casey. Casey went with me. And it was great. I mean, it was awesome. Did you go?
I was going to, but remember I had the boating accident.
Yes, that's right.
And then I also had COVID. So I was
Yeah. So it was awesome. Yeah, it was a pretty cool experience.
I would love to do that.
If you don't know anything about how houses are built, it was a little, I guess, enlightening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we got to meet the family that was the beneficiary of this house that was being given this house. They were on site. They came and they were there swinging hammers right alongside of us, which was pretty awesome. And then you get invited back out to the dedication ceremony when they actually give them the house, dedicate the house. They don't give them to them for free. They do pay a monthly amount, but it was pretty awesome. And I've always wanted to do a Habitat build. So that is an option. They are very, very active up in the Harford County area because there's, I guess, a very large need for that up there. And they're always looking for groups to sponsor a build and to pick a day. And so that might be something that we could do.
Sign me up.
Sounds like a plan to me.
They apply. So they submit an application and they talk about that when we got there. They did like an orientation and they talked about,
They have to do a lot.
yeah,
Like, they have to work
certain amount of hours.
like
One of the days.
Actually building, yes.
Oh,
So it's a lot of hours,
Like,
like
they can't-
100 hours.
Yeah,
It's like a lot.
It's like a full time.
Yeah, and they're doing it while they're working their regular job. So these people, and some of these people have, multiple jobs, and they have to commit to this time to build their house that they're being, they're going to be the beneficiary of. But yeah, it's a lot of hours that they have to put in to build. But they submit an application and then they go through a class. I think there's an educational financial class that they go through. They have to commit the hours to building the house. And then they come up with an amount that fits with their income.
Mhm.
And they do have to pay a portion towards the house every month. So it's not free. They have some skin in the game. They have an investment in it as well. They have to maintain the property to Habitat's standards that they expect. So it was very enlightening. It was a pretty cool day. So that might be something that we could do. I mean, it fits with our, with our industry, what we do. So
I'm definitely here.
awesome. Okay, so some updates. Before I jump into the business updates, some marketing updates. For those of you that were in and around the office the week of the holiday party, we did bring in a content creator, a marketing person, for a couple of days that was here on site. She did a lot of video footage, interviews. We did some agent testimonials. She did interviews with Jim and I and some video content. She is now in the editing stage of that. So she's going to take all that 2 days. She did content at the holiday party. So those of you that were there probably saw her walking around with a video camera. So she's going to take all of that content footage that she took and create some videos, some reels, some probably, I'm sure, some pretty amazing marketing content for us that we're going to use for recruiting and to market the brokerage. So keep an eye out for that. When that comes in, we'll share that and make sure everybody knows about that. We also do have a new landing page that directs to our KV Core website. But this landing page is, I can actually show it to you for those of you that haven't seen it yet. It's Hyatt and Company Real Estate.com. And I know it's long, but
Yeah, Hyatt and real estate.
thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The purpose of this landing page, though, and it is built with buyers and sellers in mind as well, but the purpose of it really is more geared towards recruiting. So the content, and this is where some of that new content will be incorporated, some of the video, the cover shot, maybe drone footage of the office space. And Nicole is coming back out in June, and she's going to do, when everything's green, the courtyard's green, she'll do new exterior drone footage also. But it's an overview of our company. So it talks a good bit about the company. These links here do go to our KV Core site. So it does link directly over to our KV Core site. But it really just kind of goes through who we are, our mission, our vision, our values, our partners. So we talk a little bit about our partnership team with links directly to Legacy House and to DML, to Keith's website. People can download a new agent checklist that walks them through kind of things to think about as a new agent, steps to take to launch their business, agent testimonials, our leadership team. So the whole purpose of this really, as you can see, our culture, the purpose of this really is our giving back, our mission. They can schedule an interview, which comes directly to my Calendly. Benefits of being an agent with us. So it's a space for you guys to be able to send people that want to know more about the brokerage that is very specifically geared towards agents and the messaging for people that want to become an agent. Brandon, yes.
Can you make a QR code for that?
Yes, I can. Absolutely. Thank you for asking that. So they can schedule an interview. They can request the download of this new realtor checklist. So I just wanted to kind of show you that. And then it will grow as we add our new marketing content that we're having created for the brokerage. But we wanted you to know that is coming, and the website is there already and live, which we're pretty excited about. We also have an outbound recruiting campaign, marketing campaign going on nonstop with ads. You may have seen some of the ads out on social media. It's generating leads for existing realtors and new realtors. Amanda takes those incoming initial calls and then puts them onto my calendar if they want to come in and meet. So that is part of our recruiting outreach. In addition to that, we're super excited to announce that we have pre-licensing classes back in the office. So super excited about that. So if you know of anybody that's thinking about getting into real estate or wants to get their license and they're asking about classes, they're going to be in person here in this classroom. Our first class is beginning the end of April. The link is live. So if you need that link, I can send it to you. I'm going to work on incorporating that into our website as an option on our website. We are also building out an ad campaign that we will launch around that as well, those pre-licensing classes. We have to fill that class. So it's minimum of 12 people, a maximum, I think the Real Estate Commission allows is 20 in a class. So it is limited seating, but there's not many live in-person options out there anymore. A lot of them went away during COVID and didn't come back. So we're super excited. I've been working with Buddy at Elite Learning Academy for 2 years, trying to get an instructor back in our office, and he finally was able to find somebody for us. So we're really excited about that. Brand new agents. Yes, the agent referral bonus does apply. We did expand that when we rebranded to new agents as well. So remember, if you introduce somebody to the brokerage, it's a $500 cash bonus when they join. For the first 1 to 4 in a calendar year, 5 to 7 is $750, and 8 and up is $1,000 upfront cash bonus when they join the brokerage. So we still have career nights going on. And this is an 8-week pre-licensing class, 2 nights a week, as opposed to the other one that was 6 weeks for 3 nights a week. So it's Mondays and Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. for 8 weeks. So if anybody's asking you about that, we do have that's starting. It's live on their website. The link is there for people to register.
It's in person only.
In person only, yes. This one. They have other instructor-led Zoom classes through Elite Learning Academy, but our whole goal was to get them in person. Here, right where you're sitting right now. Yeah. Yeah. So we're super excited about that. Send in your reviews. So if you guys haven't noticed, Sean has been now posting out every time one of you gets a review that he's able to see or find, or you put it out on social media, he takes it and creates this really cool review post and puts it out on our company website, giving you kudos. So if you get reviews from people, if it's on Zillow, he can't see those. He's only seeing, I don't know where he's getting them from right now, but his request is forward them over to him. Every time you get a review from a client, forward them over to Sean, and he will create the social media post and put it out on our Hyatt & Company website and tag you. And then you can share it, or you can repost it yourself, or do whatever with that you want to do. Keith, yeah.
I was just going to say, normally when, and I'm sure it's the same with you guys, like when you get a review, I believe it comes, like you should get it as the one that's getting reviewed. You should get that. And what I've also done, a lot more since Jen and Alec have come aboard, like I get reviews a lot of times after settlements, and I just forward it right to Jen and she posts them. The point is, that is such, you can't even put a price on that marketing, and it's free, and it's telling everybody, just putting your name out there. Like, that's the biggest thing. It don't matter what the review said. I mean, obviously, you go to the point is, it doesn't, it's just people seeing. I get calls from people all the time, like friends I've been talking, hey man, I see you're got 8 million closings, because Jen is just following up with these people after settlement. Like, don't forget to do this review. She sends them the Zillow link reviews and get my reviews back up on Zillow. I mean, it's just, if you're not posting them or having someone post them, it's just free marketing that you're missing out. I don't think there's any better marketing either. It's just somebody confirming that you do a great job in your field of work.
Yeah.
So it's just a piece of advice if anybody's
Thank
not
you.
doing that.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yo.
Another note, if you didn't notice or if you missed it in the Facebook group, I put out a post that I created for you guys. We had a lot of requests for it. So I went ahead and I branded seller listing tools for you that are customizable. And I put the Canva links out in our Facebook group directly to those items. Please make a copy of them. Don't just go in and start editing that link that you click on, because then you're editing it for everybody. But you can add your own photo, your own bio, your own information. But it is a template for a trifold brochure about you and the company. It is a listing, a seller packet. It's not a listing presentation, but it's like a seller brochure, a seller booklet. Could be a listing presentation. I guess that's what you could use it for. A 4-page luxury property brochure design to match all of that as well. The next thing, and then the seller questionnaire, which can be a brochure, like a booklet. So those are all out there. They're branded to Hyatt & Company. They're there for you to use. The next one that I'm going to work on is some buyer content, some buyer pieces as well that you guys could work on. I would highly recommend ordering them to be printed professionally. sending them off. You can send them to FedEx Kinko's. You can probably upload them to like Vistaprint. Canva has its own printing company. So like the trifold brochure, I think they'd be fine to print. The property luxury 4-page brochures, Canva can print for you. But the bigger booklet items, you might want to send off to somebody else to print. But put it on nice paper, nice thicker cardstock paper, make it a really nice presentation. But you guys have zero excuses now to not have really strong, professional branded listing marketing materials. So that came out of our listing panel and our listing class that we had.
Recommendation 360 online had really, really good prices because I ordered the brochures from them and I did research. I looked at a bunch of companies. 360 online was great.
Just 360online.com. Sweet.
Right.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Gina,
you. Yes.
we had a question on how much the licensing class is going on.
It comes out to, I think, $328. That's with books and that's your tuition and your books. What we're doing is if you guys bring us an agent or an agent comes through the class that ends up joining our brokerage, we will reimburse to them their tuition portion when they sign on. So you can advertise free tuition or tuition reimbursement, however you want to market that. If you join our brokerage, my broker will pay your tuition, reimburse you your tuition. They pay up front, they go through the class, they pass the test, they join the brokerage and activate. We'll reimburse them and we can, I don't know, deduct it from their onboarding fees or whatever, whatever that looks like. But yeah, so good question. But I think it was $328 and on Elite Learning Academy's website, it breaks it down. A portion is for tuition and a portion is for their books that they keep. They get physical books that they keep. So the next item on the marketing piece is the real estate commission. I went to the ACAR broker manager meeting last week and Scott Lederer, our Maryland real estate commissioner, he announced and he gave us a sneak peek. It's not loaded on their website yet, but they did finally update their advertising checklist. So some of the things on here that are really important to pay attention to, some of the new items. It's important to review all of these and make sure you're aware of all of these. But at the very bottom, they added the electronic media and the one-click rule. So we had talked about before, Maryland did not have a one-click rule on social media. What this means is now, if you put out a social media post with a link to your website, for example, you do not have to have all of the required real estate commission marketing items in that one social media post, as long as within one click from that post, they can see all the required information, meaning brokerage name, office phone number, all of those things.
So it's already good to
As long as they can get to your website, all of that is on your website. So if you post out something and you add a link to your website, check, that box is checked. Or, I don't know, however you're going to manage that, but it has to be within one click from that social media post that they can access all of the required information. Bobby, yeah.
So every single social media post, no matter what it's about, have to have broker's name, office number.
So you only need office number if you're sharing a phone, not your phone number. So remember, the office phone number is required anytime you're advertising your cell phone number. So if you put out a social media post and it says just listed, beautiful new home, call me today at 443-864-1594. Boom, that triggers the office phone number requirement. Now it can be within one click. So if there's a link to that property listing on your website and they click it and the office phone number should be on everybody's website, you've checked that box. If you, every post on social media, meaning if it's talking about real estate, if it's real estate related, you talk about being a realtor, if you hashtag realtor life, that's when real estate related, what's that?
Show the Spider-Man, say swing.
Yeah, no, you don't need real estate. No, it's not. Yeah.
You're a realtor. Spider-Man.
If you're a realtor Spider-Man, yes,
Yeah.
with like your for sale sign on your back.
Realtor Spider-Man, yeah, I'm checking.
Yeah.
That's his newest video.
Is it really? Oh, I have.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then, yes, that checks that box. If you're just Spider-Man, no. you're not, but if you're realtor Spider-Man, then yeah.
I would be just Spider-Man. I've got to be guilty.
Yeah, exactly. But remember, so a lot of you, if you're using your business pages, you check those boxes with your name of your Facebook business page, where you put in there Carolyn Luba, Realtor, Hyatt and Company Real Estate, and the office phone number. That checks all those boxes. Now, though, you also check that box if your Facebook homepage has your background image has all that information in it. But so when they click to go to your home, your Facebook profile page, your background image is as long if it has the Hyatt and Company logo and the office phone number, you've checked that box.
That checks all the boxes. The not profile picture, but the
Your cover picture. Because they can click on your name on that post, they can click on the name of your page, and it takes them to your profile page, which now shows your cover image, which checks all the boxes.
Are we required the O number, the C number, the FUB number now?
No.
No phone number?
Required.
Oh, yeah, that's not required.
Okay.
But,
It
Yeah.
can be used in tandem with your cell phone number now.
yeah. But some of you use your FUB number as your cell phone number. Like Ron, I think she's online, only ever markets with her FUB number. Like that is the phone number she uses for all of her stuff.
I use it.
You do? Yeah.
Easier.
Did you change it? Still?
So this is just it talks about offering inducements which a lot of you have asked me about, compensation for, referral fees, property owned by licensees. So anytime you're advertising your own property for rent, for sale, for anything, you must disclose that you are a licensee. You must disclose that you are a real estate licensee.
What?
Anytime, are you really asking me to repeat?
No, actually.
No.
Okay. Anytime, and I'll read it. So real property owned by licensees, second from the bottom. If the advertisement is for the sale, purchase, or lease of real property that is licensee owned, it must state the fact that the owner is a real estate licensee in the state of Maryland. The advertisement must state that. Can't just be in your disclosures with the disclosure of licensee status. They want it disclosed on the advertisement. All right. True and accurate picture. Is the advertising's content factual and true? Do you have the authority to advertise? Meaning, remember, you only have authority to advertise listings that are listing agreements under our brokerage. You do not have authority to advertise listings from other real estate brokerages. Make sense?
I just got a text from a woman from another brokerage wanting to do that with my listing in Bel Air.
Yeah, on TikTok or something.
I don't know. She wanted to advertise my listing.
I know. So there's somebody that called a couple of
I had that
you.
happen for my that million.
So, I mean, the problem is our listing agreement is an exclusive right to sell listing agreement that exclusively the marketing paragraph exclusively gives Hyatt and Company realtors. So the broker and all of our sales rep, my designated representatives, which is all of you, the authority to market that listing on social media. Does not say on that, it does not give anybody else permission to do videos and share it out and, share it out on their social media. I had somebody ask me, they had a call, somebody was asking them if they could come in and do a TikTok video and share out a TikTok video on their TikTok thing. On the TikTok. Now, I mean, the listing agreement does not, and it doesn't even give you authority to give that permission. I mean, you would have to have written permission from your seller to allow them to do that and to allow them to market it out. Anything you want to
Yeah,
add?
the kind of the workaround for that is if they share. So basically, when you join MLS, you agree to IDX, Internet Data Exchange, right? So that's how we get our information to Zillow, Remax.com, all the sites. So if they're using a URL that gives you and the brokerage credit for that, that's okay if they share that. But if they're putting it out there like it's their listing, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So as long as they give credit, just like all the IDX sites do, then it's okay. But it's when they kind of put it out there on Craigslist and everything, so just put it out there as theirs.
So if you hire a videographer and they, do your thing, and they use part of that video for like their marketing, that's technically illegal, right? I mean, like, I'm just trying to like,
If the videographer
yeah,
uses
like,
that.
not being part of that for like marketing their skills or their business.
They're not.
Yeah, because, well, they do, but they don't, but the problem becomes with the videographers, when we as the agent hire a videographer, it's the agent hiring the videographer to do the videography for that particular property that we have written authority to market. We are the licensee. We are the ones that are or the licensee. We're the ones. So the videographer doesn't have the seller's permission to market and share the photos and the content of their property. Because the seller didn't initiate that and didn't sign off or click a button or give permission or anything like that. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think they
So
would.
the seller doesn't pay.
No.
The
The agents pay for videography and
seller has no
photography.
communication.
Yeah. No.
Videographer.
Mm-mm. No.
But see, I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, I had that discussion with a photographer that I've used many times, and a lot of people have used it here before. And the discussion came down to, it was an empty property. The people had already moved out. I hired the photographer to come in, take pictures and do a video for me. Then I was going back and staging the property virtually, which was all just for the pictures, which was all good. He told me I can't do that.
Right.
Because the pictures are his property, they're
Yes.
trademark.
And they are, yes.
And I cannot put
Alter them.
staging.
Right.
But here comes the problem too, is that, then what do we do as realtors? So I had to stop using him because I wanted to stage the property. His staging, which I did pay for and used the one time, was not as nice, was not as good, and was twice as expensive.
Yeah.
So when you want to, what do you get then as the agent when you're buying and paying for this service that, then you can't alter it for that specific property for that time.
So you get a limited license to use those photos for that specific listing term, for that specific.
And why can't I stage it?
Because, so you can't, so that license to use is not a license to alter. So they do not give you artistic permission to alter their photography.
I'm just saying it's an issue.
Change photographers.
Yeah, change
Yeah.
photographers. Yeah, exactly. Not all photographers have that issue and care.
Well, two of them that I used did,
Yeah.
which I didn't even realize, and I was really surprised.
And I think that's because they are offering their own virtual staging. So they want you to buy it from them.
Yeah.
If you're going to hire them to do your photography, they want you to pay them to do the virtual staging.
Well, and
they
the
don't want to
reason
get
I'm
permission.
just bringing that up though is if you go back to the video that we were talking about in the advertising, if the photographer ultimately is the owner and the trademark owner of that product, then, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, why can't they put it out there?
Because so even though they own the rights to shoot that property for you for that listing term, they do not have permission from that seller unless they've had the seller sign authority to use that marketing for other marketing purposes publicly. They do not have that permission.
I mean, I've never had an
You
issue,
have-
but I'm just,
right.
I was confused about
Yeah.
that. Like, I can't alter
So-
a picture, but then they could use it.
Right. If you think about it this way, if you go someplace, like if you're, if you go someplace and there's a professional photographer and they take your picture, they're supposed to give you a form for you to sign, giving them permission to use that photography publicly for other marketing purposes on their website, their portfolio, or whatever. Without that and without that written express permission to use it publicly for marketing, technically they're not supposed to be. So
If you use like Zillow showcase listings and those photographers, that's part of it. That's part of the showcase.
Right.
And
And that's what I started doing, and it's been fine ever since, but it was disappointing.
yeah.
Because,
Especially how much it costs.
yeah, for sure.
Any other questions on the real estate commission advertising checklist? For my team leaders in the room, he did also note, it's a reminder, we need a list, and you're the only one in the room, although Liz Marie is online. We need a list anytime your team members roster changes, grows, shrinks, anything like that, the broker, is supposed to have on file a record of your current team members that are on your team at all times. Just a reminder, you're required to take the broker supervision course on your license renewals as team leader, and you have to be designated with the real estate commission as the team leader. So there's a form that's supposed to be submitted to designate the team leader with the real estate commission.
Oh, it needs process, right? Easy.
It is easy. Yep. So that is the advertising checklist that I wanted to go over. Another little note, this affects everybody in here. I mean, everybody, but especially if you have lockboxes and you're listing, if you're under Anne Arundel ACAR, Anne Arundel County Association of Realtors, you're an ACAR agent. And I don't know if Mark's online and some of my ACAR agents online. I think the date is October 1. They will no longer be supporting or accepting allowing the use of any older central lock boxes that are not the Bluetooth central lock boxes. They will not allow them. So those old big silver ones that we have that are beasts that everybody loves because they're indestructible. I've heard a lot of complaints about the new ones breaking and cracking when if they hit the door frame, apparently. The corners of them are breaking off.
I released the shackle and it fell out of my hand and fell on the floor. Now I can shut.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently Central Lock that's not covered. They won't replace it. They won't honor it. Like it's normal wear and tear and they won't cover it. So, that feedback was shared at the brokers meeting with, Robert, the CEO of ACAR, and he's going to take it back to Central Lock, okay. But anyway, they're not going to allow except the use of any other lock boxes other than the Bluetooth ones if you're an ACAR member. So that's where it's going to impact anybody that's an ACAR member. You're going to have to retire all of your old ones and you're going to have to get and only start using the new Bluetooth ones.
That means
this could
combos, right? Right.
Well, no, I mean, unfortunately, there's nothing that says you can't use combo boxes there. We tell you, you are not supposed to be using combo boxes. Our E&O will not cover it. What's that?
I mean, if there's no service,
No, so the Bluetooth one, so I learned this and apparently they teach this. There is a hack for the Bluetooth devices. If you open up your Central Lock app while you're still on, so you have to open up your your Central Lock app while you are on cell service, while you have signal, before you lose signal. But then once it's open, you can put your phone into airplane mode and you can still connect to the Bluetooth box and generate your code to open the box. It will still work. So they do work.
They tell you that.
They teach you that.
Do they when you take? But if you haven't taken the class,
Yeah,
they've started using them.
Yeah.
I know. So apparently that is the hack. Is as long as you open your Central Lock app while you're still on cell signal, so that it can open the app. Then you put your phone on airplane mode, and then when you get to that lockbox, it will allow you to generate a a code, an access code. It'll open the box for you. So yes, they do work when you don't have cell signal. But combo boxes, that's a great reminder for you. Our office policy is no combo boxes. Our E&O does not cover combo boxes. If you have a listing, your lockbox addendum does not address combo boxes, so really aren't supposed to be using them. If something were to happen and the house were to get broken into and it's not trackable and there's no data for that, we get sued, you get sued, E&O will not cover you for it. So just keep that in mind.
Dennis here. Dennis had it happen. So property he went to show the property and they left it open. Somebody walked by, saw what the combo was in it, came back later, stole all the appliances.
Wiped out the house.
Yeah. And then you can't track it.
No.
And you don't know who went when, where.
Yeah.
They teach online how to break into those condos.
Yeah. They can easily
yeah.
get cut off with bolt
Very
cutters,
easy.
bust it open with sledgehammers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just done it so
It's ACAR, did they mention anything about, because I know when HCAR went to a similar thing, you could bring your older boxes in and you can get a credit to go
Oh,
towards
that's
these
what-
ones. So
Last time.
Yeah,
If
he
they-
didn't say they were doing that. Now, whether they decide to do that, I don't know.
I think that was a program
Um,
that's running first.
I think it was when they first rolled out those
Yeah,
boxes.
I
I
know
think
these parts-
Centralock was, I think Centralock was running that. And so all the associations did it for a short period of time, trying to encourage the use of the new lock.
Which are wonderful.
Yeah,
Is Century Lock the only Bluetooth option? Is that the only option that we have to
For lock box,
Lockbox?
yes. It's our lock, that is our lockbox service that Maryland uses, yes.
But so you said that E&O doesn't like combo it up. It will only cover it if there's a Bluetooth.
Not
option.
Bluetooth, no, I'm sorry. It will only cover an electronic lockbox, but not an old school combo box that you go get from Home Depot.
Right. So if there is an electronic lockbox that will track comings and goings by whatever code you give out, that is not Century Lock, that will be covered by the,
Is there
How
one that
convenient.
exists?
I don't know.
There isn't.
Yeah.
We know what Centralock is the app that we, as realtors, when we come on board through our association, as through Bright, that's the one that
Yeah.
we're authorized to use.
But it sounds like they need competition. If we can
There
rock
is a-
the box and it cracks, then they're not gonna let us
Right.
cover it.
So, yeah, they have some, each, like, with Baltimore County, they have, it's a, like a group, like it's Hartford, Carroll, Baltimore, and they as a group do the Mars region for their lockboxes. Anne Arundel County has their own lockbox service, so each group, Southern Maryland, Eastern Shore, they all have, and at one point, a lot of them were getting, like, they contract, huge contracts with GE Supra was a key, and that's what we used to have 20 years ago. So when GE, when they did a new contract with Central Lock, we were able to take our GE boxes in, and they switched them out because they signed a new contract. So they keep an eye on that, like the local associations do, as far as the competition part. But I guess every time they go up for renewal, Central Lock is beat the contractor for GE, because there are a lot of large associations that use GE and Super Key, and that is the competitor. But if we don't manage, if it's not managed, we can't really use it because there's no way to make it reciprocal. So what happens is you have like 8 or 9 associations you're reciprocal with. Like with Eastern Shore, we have a reciprocal agreement that we have to sign because we're not automatically reciprocal. If it makes sense, so your code will work with their boxes. So it's this whole system.
But if there were multiple companies, now you're paying fees to all those companies to have access to all those different companies' boxes when you go to showings.
Yeah.
So it's not the best.
So I'm not being clear. So I'm understand why I need to continue to have a central access to Century Lock so that I can get into lockbox. But as I was listing a property and decided to use another electronic lockbox.
Where would you
that
guys
track-
go?
I don't know, but I'm not
If you
getting-
found one.
If we found one and we were able to get one that we could give out a code to whoever made an appointment or whatever, would the E&O insurance cover that? That's my question.
I'd have to ask. I'd have to check
Well,
and
is it
see.
specifically that they only cover Century Lock specifically?
Yeah, I'd have to check and see, because the issue would become, how are you verifying and vetting those agents that are to make sure they are licensed, that they're licensed? You would almost have to go in, check the license status of every single agent that
How can they
makes
make
an appointment.
to like a showing time if they're not?
Right,
Because
because
they-
they're
right,
right,
and they're
right.
members.
If they own all those things, it's just one little family.
So for
So
example,
if they make an appointment through showing time, they're an agent, right?
yeah,
Yes.
So at
Or
that time,
a
I can
license.
issue them a code to this lockbox is what I'm saying. So I
Oh,
don't
so
need
you're
to
saying
tell
that-
if they make.
So
an
you're
appointment.
saying that you would be responsible.
not every
for
single-
them to go like.
An
Yeah.
electronic code. Yeah.
There's a very, I mean, the way they govern these lockboxes. So basically, if you have lockbox access, you can get into anybody's house and kill anybody anytime, right? So they have a very elaborate system on who's approved. They have a huge finding system. If somebody goes in that they didn't have an approved time, like if you had an approved time from 9 to 10, you go in at 10 o'clock.
It's regulation.
So there's so much regulation for it. That's why E&O companies have approved them for E&O insurance, where there's so many variables. If you do a quick set electronic, something like that, and you give somebody an app, because if there's a showing time service, how are they going to change your rolling code for every single agent that comes in? So unless there's something like that can be approved, but right now the only one that's approved and vetted through E&O insurance policies is the ones that boards have done all that research and figured all that stuff out.
Okay.
Well,
I have
and
a quick
that's
question. When
such a liability issue, right?
I need 1 second, Debbie.
You know, because we're tracked going in and out, which is
Uh-huh.
huge. I mean, I want that for my,
Yeah.
sellers,
good
but
selling
then,
point.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
I was on the board for the Mars region, and if somebody went in unauthorized, there was a no warning automatic fine of $500. Like if somebody, and it happened all the time in Baltimore. You'd walk down the street and, an agent would be showing and they'd have to present their case and they try to get out of it every time. But they're like, I went into the wrong address or, it looked vacant, or I tried to call the agent, I answered, they just went in. $500. Like, I think it went up to $1,500. So that's kind of like the governance of it. It's very regulated and very tracked. And
What happened to Bill Young the one time? Remember Bill Young's? Somebody else scheduled the appointment under his name and opened the lockbox with their own app. But the appointment was scheduled under his name and this was like his assistant or something that then went in and actually opened the lockbox.
under their
Didn't he get an instant $1,000 fine?
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like he was.
see, I had that happen. Well,
It was
something
instant.
similar where, I was actually driving to the closing of a house that I was the listing agent. We were closing that day. On the way, I left the office to the closing. I got an alert that and I don't remember what brokerage, but this gentleman from some brokerage had gone into the house. And he had nothing to do with this closing or anything. So when I got there to the closing, I called him and I'm like, why are you in that property? Well, he wasn't in the property. He had bought the house next door, was there renovating it. When he went to leave, there was a woman on the front porch of that property saying that she was going to be renting that property and couldn't get in. I said, but he let her in. Well, she wasn't authorized to go in there. So, but because of that tracking system, I knew who to, well, first of all, I knew somebody was in there. And secondly, I knew who to go to. Well, Christy apologized all over himself, but like, you can't do that. So that's my point, that works.
Yeah.
That system works. And so anyway, long story after that, we got it straightened out, but yes, you need to know who's in and out of those properties.
They do involve the real estate commission. So we had one case where a buyer agent just didn't feel like going to the final walkthrough, gave a 1-day code to their clients. The listing agent showed up. Somehow they found out that their license was either suspended or revoked for giving the code.
Right, you can't do that. And yeah. So
yeah, it's a big deal. Debbie, you had a question.
Yes, I have a quick question. So a couple times recently, there's been where they allow overlapping showings, and let's say I'm the first one there, and I'm like worried about leaving because an agent came and I've already put my code. How does that work as far as if something were to happen?
And I'm glad you asked that question because I was gonna add that in. So her question was, if she's at a showing and another agent shows up with their client and they have an overlapping showing time, how do you handle that? Because it's her code that's been used in the lockbox to open that lockbox. Here's what you do. You tell that agent, I'm so sorry, I can't give you this key. I'm going to put it back in the lockbox to end my showing. And then you can open the lockbox and you can access and get the key out of the lockbox.
Yes, I just had it happen on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I put it in the box and she was right back.
Yes, good. And they should understand that and just say, I'm so sorry, but
I'm not even so.
I can't, I need to end my showing. Because if you just hand them that key, first of all, have you verified that they are a licensed agent and they had an appointment and authority to show that house and to have access to that key?
I always feel weird leaving them in the house.
Yeah, right? I know. Yeah, I know. But you need to put the key back in the lockbox. And a lot of times I would ask if you're leaving them in the house, you're putting the key back in the lockbox, ask them for a business card or something. Can I get your business card? Just to make sure that they are actually an agent. And then if something happens, you can then tell that listing agent, here's who, they gave me a business card. This is who it is. This is who was in that property.
I've had agents name drop both of you. Like, oh, say hi to Jim and Tina for me.
Exactly. Sorry, that doesn't get it.
Oh, that doesn't.
Yeah, fair. But that was a great question, Debbie. Thank you for asking that. Emails. Please make sure you've updated your email addresses in NAR Maryland Realtors, your local association, and the Maryland Real Estate Commission's website. One of the things that Scott said was they've had a lot of emails kicked back to them when they send out their license expiration reminders. They're sending out license expiration reminders at 6 months, at 90 days, and at 60 days. And maybe I'm missing another one. They are giving you multiple notices that your license is expiring. That leads me into the next
We also
update. And we do too.
Yeah.
Yes.
90, 60, 30, and maybe
Yeah.
7 now.
So the important thing to remember though is now the regulation says from the Real Estate Commission, your CE credits must be completed more than 30, so 31 days or more before your renewal date. If you get to 29 days and you haven't finished, or you finish your CEs on day 29, you will get charged a late CE fee when you go to renew your license. And they may even tell you you can't, or they'll let you renew, but then you're going to pay a late CE fee. So they are actually reducing the late CE fee. It's right now $168. They had to enact like sort of legislation or a modification to because this is the Real Estate Commission rules are written in legislature. So they had to do an amendment to reduce the fee. So it was a whole big process. But it's going to be now $75. And that's hopefully should be in place by October 1st. So, but if you finish your CEs late, you will be charged a late fee to renew your license. Okay, that's really important.
Shop always get.
What did
I was doing my CE. I finished my last hours. I think it was like the 32nd day before my renewal. It get like
Yeah.
submitted to the commission until it's like the end of the 31st day. So I like make a new time. But I had to call.
I'm gonna do mine in 4 days.
I had to call and, like,
What?
I'm gonna do mine in 4 days. I already like got it all. I just gotta do it.
Yeah, thank you for that, Trevor. Yeah, so, and you cannot submit your own certificate. They will not take a certificate from you, printed out from the CE shop saying, no, here's my certificate. No, they will only take them direct from the CE providers now. We're right now almost at crossover day with, Maryland legislature. We're in our legislative session. Maryland crossover day is March 18th, which means any bills that are going to be moving forward and likely to pass must cross over on the 18th. Otherwise, if they don't, then they fall to the wayside. One of the bills, so there's a bunch of them. I'm not even going to go over all of them. There are some for ADUs, making even more loosening more zoning regulations, requirements to the counties to loosen their zoning regulations even more so on property rights, meaning if they tell a buyer of land, for example, this is one of the big ones, they tell a buyer of land when they're looking to buy that land, yes, you can use that to build a single family home on it. The buyer buys the land, and what happens, and it apparently happens a lot more often than not, they can then come back and say, oh, sorry, never mind, we've changed the regulations out there, or there's now you can't build. Now you can't use that land to build on. And there's homeowners that are stuck with land parcels that so apparently one of the new bills says they can no longer do that. Once they give a zoning approval or a zoning decision, they cannot change that. It cannot be changed. So that's a big one that's coming through. One of the ones that impacts us, new EMD release bill that will change last year's EMD release law that went into place for the better. What they're adding that was not added from the beginning, which I thought was interesting, was financing contingency. So in that box of automatic release terms after the 10-day waiting period for a seller to dispute, they're looking to add all contingencies in the contract, including financing. The other thing they're talking about doing in that same bill is shortening the 10-day window for a seller to dispute to a smaller amount of time, 3 or 5 days. And they're shortening the amount of time that third-party service providers or escrow holders have to send the EMD back to the buyer. Right now you have 30 days after that termination. If the seller doesn't dispute within 10, they're looking to shorten that to like 7 days. So if the seller doesn't dispute within their window, then your third party escrow holder would have like 7 days to return that EMD back to that buyer. The dispute, they also want to require, now I'll be curious to see how much of this holds. They want to require in the seller's written notarized dispute of release of funds, the application submitted for mediation, to require that the seller have actually begun the mediation process to mediate for the deposit release to the seller. So no longer could a seller just send a dispute written, notarized to the title company or the brokerage, and then now that money is held up, and like we're getting ready to go through the interpleader process. We've got like 8 files from Exit that we have to have an attorney submit for court interpleader because sellers disputed or buyers disputed. We did broker decision, they disputed, and they said we were going to go to mediation, and they never went to mediation because there's nothing that says they then have to go to mediation. Now this new bill set will say the sellers, if they're disputing the EMD release, will have to then show proof of mediation initiation. So we'll see what comes out of that. I'll keep you posted. Transaction coordination. In your packet, you have the flyer for Aisha for transaction coordination. There have been a couple updates on here, and I want to go over them with you. I don't know, is Aisha online with us? Hi, Aisha.
Hi,
So feel free to jump in. There she is, Aisha, in the beautiful California sunshine. So your flyers, there's been a couple changes on here, and I want to go over them with you. You can read through the listings and the contracts. There's a few things that she will not be able to do. So a couple of those went out. She cannot communicate with your clients directly. She cannot review or go over forms with your clients. She's not advising you on repairs that you should go on your PIN. So that came off of there. That's really for you guys. You're the agents. That's for you to figure out and to negotiate with your clients, not for Aisha to give you advice on what repairs your clients should or shouldn't be asking for. And she also is not communicating directly with your clients. She will upload the listings into the sorry guys, online. I'm so sorry.
I sent them all a PDF.
Just yell at me when I don't change the slide. She will upload your listings into the MLS. She will upload the photos, tours, and disclosures into Bright as well. The fees are on there. So this goes over everything for your listings and your contracts that she will do for you. We added at the bottom because there was, I guess, some confusion or lack of clarity. So now it's clear. Offer or listing writing. If she writes an offer for you or drafts your listing for you, and then that doesn't get signed, ratified, executed, those are $50 each. So each listing, she'll write offers for you, but each offer she writes for you is $50 for her to write that offer. That's her time. If it never goes through, she never gets paid for those, but she does, right? It's $50 for each one. Any listing, so this is a little bit new. Any listing that is terminated prior to going under contract or any offer that is written but not accepted incurs the $50 fee. Make sense? Any contract that is terminated within 7 days or less prior to closing, 50% of the transaction coordination fee will still be due to Aisha. Because here's the problem. Here's what's happening, right? She's doing all this back end work for you. And there's a lot of work that she puts in for you guys, time, energy, in TCing your contract or your listing that goes under contract, and then it falls apart. And she's not being compensated for that time. So we looked at what the majority of the other TC companies out there are doing, and they're all charging a termination fee, which is what we saw. The majority of them are charging half of the total fee if it falls apart prior to going to closing. Make sense? Good. Awesome. Aisha, anything I missed that you wanted me to touch on?
I did want to add something. If I am writing an offer for a buyer and the first offer doesn't get accepted, but then I write a second offer for the same buyer and that offer gets accepted, the $50 fee will be added to the final fee amount that will be deducted from once you get paid on your commission.
So then what would the final fee be?
So if she writes, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Aisha.
So if if it's contract to close would be $400, the additional $50, then the total amount would be $450 for offers because it includes the one offer that was not accepted on the first house. So I kind of tally them up.
Awesome. Perfect.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So if she writes an offer, the first one determined, the first one don't go through, the second one don't go through. So for each offer she writes, she's gonna charge $50 each offer. Yes. Plus the $400.
Yes, because the 400 is from contract to close.
Okay.
So anything that comes before it goes under contract, that is outside of that $400 contract to close. That's where the offer writing comes in. Yeah. All right. Any questions online from anybody else? In addition to that, Aisha has created these awesome new intake forms. They are JOT forms. So before, you guys would submit an email with the details of what it was that you wanted her to do for you. The listing details, the offer details, whatever that looked like. She has taken the time to create these really cool. I'm super excited about these intake forms through JOT form that you go through and you fill in now all of the information for the listing or for the offer. Oh dear. The offer intake. And Aisha, mine didn't update at the top. I don't know if you've updated that yet or not. My link did not update the option. So up at the top, she was going to have an option for offer or contracted. Oh, it's at the bottom. Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
Sorry.
Nope, you're good. So this is the offer intake form. So you just go through and you fill in all of the information. You can see which ones are required, all of the details, so that she can then either start processing your contract to closing, or put together your offer for you. So it says down here, would you like contract to close? Any unsigned or unaccepted offers will incur a $50 charge. No, offer writing only at the $50 charge. So if you're just having her write an offer, then that would be your option. If you're ratified under contract, then it would be, contract to close. And then there's a listing one as well. So these have been added to the company cloud links in KV Core. So in KV Core on your dashboard on the right-hand side where it's company cloud, where you can get to the virtual training room, the Hyatt Company resource drive, all the YouTube training videos. There's now a link for the listing intake form for TC and the offer intake form for TC. If you don't have KV Core, we are also going to pin these links to the top of the private Facebook group and try to figure out how else to get them out to you guys. But we're going to get those links out so that you guys know where they are and you can access them. Sound good?
Tina.
Yes.
She's doing the listing in Dotloop, or is that something? Is she like writing up a listing offer or something in Dotloop?
Aisha, do you want to answer that, Aisha?
I do. So when I write an offer or a listing agreement, what I do is I request your Dotloop sign-in information so I can sign in as you as the agent, and I create the loop under your own account. Then before it gets sent to a buyer or a seller, I will inform you, and then you as the agent, you should go in, make sure that everything is correct the way that you want it to be, and then you can either let me know if you want me to go ahead and share it with your client, or if you're gonna do it, whichever one you prefer.
Okay.
Thank you. Good question.
Could it make sense
things.
for those forms to live in Dotloop?
Is there a way for those forms to live in Dotloop? I don't think so because they're not physical PDF forms. They're actual, it's a jot form that then all of those answers are compiled and emailed over to Aisha. As opposed to it being, if it was in Dotloop, it would be something she would then have to. You could just scan. Yeah, but the purpose of this is that it's electronic, digital. It's easier for her to extract that information and dump it into what she's compiling.
Tina, can I chime in?
Yes, please.
We had we tested this out with a couple of agents that were already using Transaction Coordinator, and they were using the older, we had a Word form so that you would have to copy the form onto your email and then fill it out. And by using instead the jot form, it's very streamlined. I know it looks like it's a lot, but it's just fill in the information, copy the link, fill in the information, and then when you send it to me, you also will receive an email copy of what you did send. So we will both have the form for you for your records and me just to have and to make sure that everything that you requested is on there. So I know it might seem a little daunting. It's definitely not as I would say complicated as a Google form. It's all one page, just fill in the info. There's certain fields that are required, especially on the offer intake form, but it's pretty quick. The feedback that we received is that it's pretty quick and easy to use.
Awesome. Thank you, Aisha.
Thank you.
I think the interactive forms can't be loaded without. It's just interactive.
Yeah, it can't be. It would have to be a flat PDF loaded into Dotloop, and then we would have to set up all the. It would be a lot. It would be a lot. We have to pay Dotloop to make it a fillable form.
I mean, the thing with Joshua is it pulls that information out. So
Exactly, it extracts it. Right, that's the purpose. We're coming to the wire. Hang with me just a few more minutes, guys. Tuesdays, and then I have Legacy House here also. Tuesdays, 10 a.m. We are starting April 7th, so the first Tuesday in April. Amanda, Sean, Ruth Ann, and myself are all blocking an hour to do virtual office hours. So what this is going to look like, it's going to be in this virtual training room. So we're going to open up the link you guys already have access to. If you have a question on marketing, Sean's going to be in that room. If you have a question on operations stuff, compliance stuff, paperwork stuff, Amanda's going to be in that virtual training room. I'm going to be in there for broker questions. Ruth Ann's going to be in there for follow-up boss, lead team. What we're going to do is, and it's going to be fun, we're going to try it out on April 7th. Maybe beforehand we'll troubleshoot it. April 5th. Yeah, right? In theory, the way that we see this working is anybody that jumps in and says, hey, Tina, I have a question for you, a broker question. Great. We're going to start a breakout room. So then we'll have breakout rooms for each of the four of us that then you guys can join the breakout room that aligns with the question that you have. You can then leave and jump into another breakout room if you need to. So if you have a question both for me and one for Sean on marketing or for Ruth Ann, that you can jump between during that hour, breakout rooms for our virtual office hours. Awesome. So what we felt like was it's just a way, it's separate from like the roundtable. I'll still have the roundtable discussions, but a way for you guys to have a little bit more open access once a week. So it'll be every Tuesday at 10 a.m. We'll just open a virtual training room. We'll all be in there. If nobody's in there, we'll just be sitting there working away until somebody jumps in with a question. So we're going to give it a shot. We're going to see if it works out, if you guys utilize it, if it's helpful to you. But we wanted to give you a little bit more open access, at least once a week on a regular schedule, to the leadership team. Listing contest. Don't forget, our listing contest is currently going on. For every listing that you have signed, it ends at the April sales rally. So it's for quarter one. It started at the January sales rally. It ends at the April sales rally. You get a point for every listing that gets signed during that time period. You get another point for every listing that goes under contract utilizing Legacy House Title. So if you use Legacy House Title on your listing, you sellers and buyers agree to use Legacy House Title as the closing company, it goes under contract and they agree to use Legacy House, you get a second point. Okay. So we have a leaderboard to give you guys an update as to how it's going. Our current leaderboard.
You gotta people.
What? The what?
The people.
We just know who first.
What people?
The cameras.
What you want to see the numbers? The numbers?
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
The points.
The points.
Covered.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
People were in the way of.
Okay, sorry. Here's our leaderboard. In first place with 6 total points, the JC Taylor home team. Second place with a tie for second place between Bob Fry, the Page home team, Jeff Choice, and Dennis Bentley. 4 points each. You did. And then we move into 3 points, Daryl Walker, and then we have several tied for last place.
Oh,
sorry. The next place, whatever the next place is, 2 points each.
God.
Third, what would that be? Fourth? Sorry.
HR.
I know. I'm a bully. I'm a bully. I know. So congratulations, guys. Keep at it. Keep working to get those listings signed. It ends April. I think it's whatever the sales rally is in April. The flyer, we can put that information back out again so you guys have it. This link, we can add this link to the Facebook page. This is a live, updated, running leaderboard that Amanda keeps updated. We'll put this link into the Facebook group. We'll also send it, Sean can add it to the weekly ops email. Make sure you're reading through that whole weekly ops email because it's putting a lot of important information. It's kind of become like our newsletter, like a weekly newsletter for you guys. So there's a lot of important information that goes in there. Maryland Realtors Regional Roundtables, March 18th at the Hyatt Regency Chesapeake. April 29th, I'll be at the Westin BWI. Come, you got to register, but they are awesome. This is a great time to hear from your Maryland Realtors leadership team. What's new, what's coming out, what are important updates from Maryland. Chuck Caskey's retiring.
Wow.
Which is super sad to hear, I know. So they're in the hunt for a new CEO. We are having a grand opening celebration for the office. Yeah, super excited about that. June 5th, 3 to 7. Here it's going to be out in the courtyard. We're going to have a food truck. We're going to have a beer truck. We're going to have some fun activities, some giveaways. So mark your calendars. Our summer party, Fall Family Fete, is September 26th, Patapsco State Park. Same thing. We're going to have like barbecue trucks and I don't know, all kinds of fun stuff. And then the Maryland Realtors Conference, the dates were just released for that as well. Last but certainly not least, Sam, Suzanne, anything you guys would like to update us on from Legacy House?
There's one thing.
Yeah.
It takes just about an hour to go over. We're gonna try to keep it short.
So the first thing we want to talk about, I don't know if anybody's heard about this new FinCEN.
Yeah.
Anybody heard of the FinCEN stuff? So FinCEN is a new reporting rule. It's a federal regulation, federal rule that we have to report. We as a photographer have to report certain information, certain types of transactions to the government. So it's any transactions with an LLC, and any transactions with a trust.
Cash.
Cash transactions. Right. So this is all for money laundering purposes and making sure that the money coming into the U.S. is from overseas, yada, yada, yada. So if it's a cash deal that's got an LLC on it or a trust, we have to request some more information. It's nothing that they shouldn't have already been providing anyways. I just know some of you, I don't know if any of you work with, but we work with some investors who are kind of like, hey, I sell 2 houses a week, here's the stuff I send. And when you start asking them for anything additional, they get annoyed and aggravated. Like, never going to do this before. But yeah, because it starts on March 1st, right? So just went into effect in March. Everything, all the info requests will go out in Qualia. They just pop it all in. It's nothing too crazy. It's, asking for the EIN. It's asking for where they were registered, all those kind of things. So if you get anybody who's frustrated by any information requests, just let us know. We can reach out to them and kind of explain to them what this is, why we're asking for it, and kind of put them at ease and explain to them it's not us, it's something we have to send to government. Because if we don't send that information, we actually are on the hook for that. So we are going to be very persistent about making sure we get everything we need.
And I just wanted to read this one thing that we got. FinCEN stands for Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. It's a bureau of the U.S. Department of Treasury. Between 2015 and 2020, $2.3 billion was laundered through U.S. real estate transactions. So this is why, this is why the government, is cracking down on this. Your seller, if you have a listing and you ratify a contract with a LLC cash buyer or trust buyer, your seller is going to have to answer some questions also. And that will be things like the property address, the seller's names. I pulled it up because it was kind of like knowledge about the seller. Let me see if I have it right here. It's like 4 things. Is the sale of the property due to a death, a divorce? Like, so why am I selling the property? Are you an individual? So it's about 4 or 5 things that your sellers are always also going to have to answer. I do think that if you have the same investor, the information that we acquire the first transaction, we can house and then just use that for their next transactions.
Yeah.
And FinCEN is not new. It's been around
not
for
new,
a long time.
but
on the lending side, we have a lot of restrictions through the mortgage company of report. The mortgage companies have a lot of reporting. And
that's why they're for cash transactions,
Yeah.
because there's no
Tracking.
reporting
Yep.
through,
So the lenders
through
don't
lending.
track
Right.
cash transactions. That's how this laundering had become so easy and prevalent for the bad guys. So now they've put the burden of this on the realtors and the title company, ultimately the title company, to report these cash transactions, to track these.
Yeah. But it's nothing too crazy. Just kind of want to give everybody a heads up. I know there's been a lot of stuff going on. We've been to a couple things where there's been attorneys who go up and talk about it for 30 minutes.
Yes. I've seen all kinds of classes coming up about it.
Yeah.
You don't really, I don't know why.
You don't need a class. All you need to know is if you have a cash transaction and it's an LLC or a trust as a buyer.
Yeah.
If you have that, that's all you need to know. That FinCEN, here's your class, here's your credit. These are the clippings.
Yeah. So nothing too crazy. Just want to give everybody a heads up on that.
I wanted to spin off on just a couple things that Tina and Keith said. Just remember, like, we're partnering with you to get your ratified contract to the closing table. If you are pushing a listing to Legacy House Title, we are more than happy to talk to the buyer's agent. I have buyer's agents call me all the time, and they'll say, hey, your client, the listing agent, would like to push to Legacy House Title. Can you tell me a little bit about your company? So we can handle that part of the sale negotiating to get title to come to Legacy House Title. We're happy to do that for you. The other thing that Keith said was that, we are partners with you, and you're kind of like the first line of defense in the whole process of getting the contract to close. You know more about your buyers, you know more about the sellers. If there's anything that's going on, shoot us an email through Qualia or just through the Hyatt email and give us a 411. Hey, just found out my seller's going to be in North Carolina. Hey, I just found out that my seller's not going to be in the country. Like, if we know these things ahead of time, we're not scrambling a day before closing to get everything done. Because what is the last thing everybody remembers in the whole transaction is actually the closing. It can be a horrible transaction up to closing. Closing's a great experience. Everybody walks away happy. Sellers have money, buyers have keys. It can be a great transaction. And if settlement falls apart, then all of a sudden, all of our names are not so much at the top of their list. So I just want to remind you all that, hey, we're your partners in this. With that being said, Sam and I really wanted to reach out to you about our response time to your needs and inquiries. So if your calling in, if you're calling Jenna, who's processing your transactions, and she's maybe working on a fire or prelim CD or balancing something for another agent in the group that has a closing, she's not going to be able to get right to you because we're concentrating on making sure everything is correct here to stop and then open a file. Not that your question or thing is not important. We just want to give you the same service when we're processing your transactions. So we're going to ask if you can send an email. Instead of making a phone call, send an email for the quickest response. Hyatt at. Sam sees that email. I see that email. 3 or 4 other people on our team receive that email. So if you want a phone call, just say, hey, this is the property. Can you give me a call? One of us will give you a call. We keep such great notes and detailed information in every single file that we can probably answer your question. You don't have to go straight to Jenna for an answer to your question. If you're wondering if your seller or buyer completed task, hey, just shoot us off an email. Hey, just wondering, do we need to do anything else? Is my buyer or my seller, have they done everything they need to do? Yep, you guys are good. Or no, like these are the things we need. So just remember that you have a team of a number of people working to help support you. And we would ask that you utilize that through Hyatt at.
What's the full email address?
Hyatt at legacyhousetitle.com. Sorry.
No, you're good.
And we can send that out to you guys too. And then, of course, always feel free to call. Always feel free
That's
to
what I was
call.
gonna say. This isn't like about
Yeah,
a call
like-
thing. This is more so I know all of you before were kind of used to having Katie or
Right.
it was one person that you went to with everything.
Right.
And so, and she was in the office and stuff, and that's fine, but you get burnt out a little bit, you know, when you're trying to put out a fire that takes your undivided attention for an hour and you got 5 phone calls that you got to get back to, but in that hour you got 2 other CDs that came in that you got to balance, you got Keith asking for a prelim, you know, so having one person have to do all that is not sustainable. You're not going to get the best service.
Right.
So this is really just about giving you the best service, meaning that if you need an answer on something and you need an answer quick, if you shoot over an email, like Suzanne said, it'll be me that'll call you. I know some of you in here have called Jenna and left her a voicemail and then I'm calling you back. That's because Jenna's put out a fire and she shoots it over me that, hey, you might call and say you're back. I don't have a problem doing that. You know,
Right.
I can call you, I can answer whatever questions that you have. So it's more so about getting you answers to your question as soon as we can, right? Because sometimes
We just want to we want to be able to support you, and we know that you've got things going on, so that we think that's going to be the best way moving forward.
Perfect.
The only other thing I wanted to say is that I am so impressed with this team at your rewards banquet. How in 2025, like not a really easy year to sell real estate, you all had all of these amazing award winners. It was great to be a part of that. The venue was awesome. The food was amazing. The little casino was really cool too. But just hearing the awards and all that you all achieved in 2025 is really impressive. So we're happy to be here. Yeah, we're happy to help support that. Yes, yay to you. I think that's all we have.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say. Don't forget, usually attorneys are long-winded. I usually keep him short. Don't forget that we do travel for closings too. So if you are negotiating a contract in, Baltimore area, Annapolis area, Washington County, wherever you are, you can let the other agent know, like, look, my title company will come to us. So don't get discouraged if they say, oh, I looked at your title company, they're in Frederick, Maryland. Some people like Frederick, but we'll go anywhere. And we have office space throughout Maryland. So just remember that as you're kind of talking through with other agents. Okay. Anything we can do for you all, just shoot us an email, give us a call. You have our cards all around the office with our numbers and everything. So we're happy to help.
Thank you.
Good. Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
right, guys, that's all we have for today. Thank you for hanging with us. Thanks online.
But I did it last year.
So I could let you